update. And if you want to find me on Facebook, I've already posted up some comments from physicists and other people. I mean, I'm not the only one, and Max is not the only one. We predicted on the Truth Frequency months ago that this is it's the biggest toxic nuclear catastrophe that mankind has ever known. And that is no exaggeration. I don't want to put people in fear. Don't live in fear, but I want you to be aware. And, you know, everybody should have been given thyroid tablets, basically.
Absolutely. Awareness is our biggest weapon. When we are aware of the mind control, aware of the radiation, aware of the chemicals in the food, aware of the chemicals that they spray in the air. We'll be right back on that thought, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Everard, our special guest of EnigmaTV.com.
Are you ready to be liberated? On this society street. Well, the poor have been free from their cages. I got freedom in my head.
Welcome back. Final segment of Blacklisted Radio, special edition with Chris and Sharif, Truth Frequency special guest Christopher Everard. And we're talking about the radiation that's covering the planet at this point from this nuclear holocaust, which is the only thing that I can describe it as, because that's what it seems to be heading to.
It is. It is. You've got two reactors. Now, let me just tell you some nuts and bolts of really what it's like there. There is a live camera feed which you can tap into on the internet. And if people are interested in looking at that feed, I've actually posted it up on my Facebook page several times in the last couple of months. It seems to be a black and white video camera for some reason. It doesn't seem to be a very high resolution image. There's been several events that haven't been reported. There's been huge kind of billows of steam that are so big, so much steam coming out of, I think it was reactor 2 at night, that it looked like a sea fog coming in from the sea. Not reported on the mainstream media. So what I think is going on there is that is moisture in the soil underneath the reactor building, and what's happening is that this molten mass of critical toxic radioactive molten metal is boiling the moisture and the water out of the soil, and the building is filling up with steam. And that's no ordinary steam. That's really radioactive steam. Now, you breathe that in, you're going to be vomiting, you're going to be bleeding from your tear ducts. It's going to be very, very serious indeed. So you can see a live feed, and that camera has been placed there by TEPCO, who are the corporation that were running these reactors, which I have to say I think they were nearly 40 years old. So we're dealing with really old technology. And quite frankly, the last airborne data that I saw, at 1,000-meter altitude, so 3,000 yards above the reactors, the background radiation was 10,000 times normal levels, and that was about a month and a half ago. Now, there's been some reports saying that the airborne radiation at Fukushima now is even more than it was before. And I don't know exactly officially why that would be, but my best guess is that it's due to this boiling process where the moisture of the soil and maybe groundwater, because remember this is right on the beach, is being boiled. And there's steam basically rising from, these crippled reactors. And of course the other thing is that at the beginning of the disaster, the fuel rods were still inside the containment vessels, which are like, if you like, the giant pig iron kind of pressure cookers. And now the containment has been breached, and this stuff is oozing and glooping out. And as each drip of this stuff comes out, so the radiation meters go off the level. And, it's really, really serious. The people in the immediate area, this is the other thing that's not being covered. The people in the immediate area are being told that they cannot leave the area. And this is an exclusion zone that started off a 15-mile radius from the crippled reactors. Then it went up to 19 miles. And the last report I saw, it was 24 miles. Well, you look at that on a map, 24 miles radius. You're looking at an enormous area. There's people there with farms, shops, all kinds of small businesses, big businesses, roads, rail, schools, you name it. 24-mile radius. I mean, if you walk 24 miles in your local neighborhood, you'd walk past hundreds of different businesses, houses, schools, shops. And those people aren't being allowed to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of those people couldn't leave because the roads were mangled. And that also meant, get this, that the emergency vehicles, the water cannons and all this kind of thing, they couldn't even get in there. It was... just look at those photos. We can dig like, Transformers had a big punch up there.
We can dig even deeper into this and talk about the Israeli involvement with them harvesting organs. It seems like the whole reaction crew was all Israeli-based corporations.
Oh, really? Well, that happened in Haiti after the disaster there just recently. Well, I hope they don't transplant any of those harvested organs into any healthy people.
I'm sure they will. They have absolutely no conscience.
Yeah, I mean, I find that kind of thing, hanging is too good for those types of people. I really detest this kind of thing. Hopefully the word will get around and these organ harvesters won't be allowed in these disaster areas anymore. I know I saw a documentary, you can see part of it on the Enigma channel, enigmatv.com. There was a French rescue team of nuclear disaster-trained French firemen. And it took them hours and hours and hours to travel a relatively short distance to get into the Fukushima wreckage zone. It took them hours and hours, a journey that you would normally do, 35, 40 minutes, because there was just so much carnage there. Now, why are the people being told they can't leave? They're being told they can't leave because they are toxically poisoned. Their saliva is now radioactive. They have heavy metal, radioactive particles of heavy metal in their blood, in the tear solution of their eyes, in their saliva. You can't let those people go into society and mingle with the rest of society. They will end up contaminating people at the other end of Japan, because if I was one of those people, I'd want to leave the area and go as far away from that place as possible.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Very, very serious. It's the most catastrophic. I can't even put it into words. This place needs to be buried. Okay, we've got 2 dead zones on the planet now, both due to, this toxic nuclear industry. You've got the dead zone in Chernobyl, and the winds took the toxic plume. If I showed you the map, the area of the dead zone, which is basically a forested area, is enormous. Now, if you take the map of the polluted area from Russia, and you transpose and superimpose that plume of pollution over Europe, You'd have 7 or 8 of the world's most ancient nations toxified. That's how bad Chernobyl was. It polluted a third of the world.
Oh, yeah, and this is
Chernobyl-
much, much bigger than Chernobyl. Chris,
Oh,
we've got
yeah.
about 1 minute and 20 seconds left. What would you like to leave the audience with?
I think the best thing for people to do, I'll send them a free ebook called Nuclear Nightmare. What people do right now, listen up everyone. You go to enigmatv.com. That's ENIGMATV.com. Enigmatv.com. Under the Enigma Channel logo, there's a little box. If you write your email address in there, click submit, I'll send you by email my PDF booklet. It's an e-booklet, and you've got 3 Mile Island, the killing of Karen Silkwood, Chernobyl, news of Fukushima. There's 6 nuclear submarines rotting on the seabed. The mafia are being paid by the EU superstate to dump nuclear waste in the Mediterranean. It's all in my book. So you go enigmatv.com, put in your email, click submit, and I'll send you the Nuclear Nightmare e-booklet.
Excellent. Chris, thank you very much for being so gracious with your time and coming on last minute like this. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to Truth Frequency with your host, Christopher Everard, every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central here on Oracle Broadcasting. We've got a lot of great things coming up for you. And, of course, if you love this information, you're going to get much, much more. EnigmaTV.com. Go to the mailing list right now. Get on the mailing list, and you get regular updates on what's going on in the world.